Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you guys are doing well, staying at home and staying safe. This is Sheikh Ahmed with you from the Mosque Foundation, and this new program in Ramadan is for our kids 7 years old until 10 years old. Of course, everyone is welcome. I'd like to start with a story for you guys and what we learned from this story and how can we practice it, and one ayah to memorize and one exercise to do with your parents at home. So let me start with that story. It's about a king and a wise man. So the king invited this wise man in his palace, and then at one point the king felt very thirsty, and he asked for some water, and the water was immediately brought to the king. And then the wise man wanted to teach the king a point. So he interrupted the king and said, "Can I have one question, please?" He said, "Go ahead." He said, "Imagine if you cannot find this water anywhere in the world. How much money would you pay to get that water?" And the king never thought about this before because this water is available for everybody, and no one thought of missing this great blessing. And he thought about it and said, all of the wealth I have would be meaningless, would be worthless, if I cannot have some water to survive with. So he said, I am ready to pay half of my wealth to survive. So the wise man prayed for him and said, "May Allah make it healthy for you. Now you can drink it." And after the king finished drinking the water, the wise man did not stop. He interrupted with another question. And he said, "May I have one more question?" And he said, "Go ahead." And the man said, "Now, with this water in your body, imagine if you cannot release it from your body, meaning you cannot use the bathroom. Of course, if the water stayed in the body, it could cause big damages and a person could even die." So the king again thought about this and said, "What would my money do if I cannot even survive?" And he said, "I would be ready to pay everything I have to get this water out and be safe and be healthy." So the wise man now got to the point he wanted to teach. And he said, "That means everything you have is not worth a cup of water. That cup of water is worth all of the wealth you have." And the king never thought about this before, and he was touched by what his man said, by what this wise man said, and he became a very good and fair and just king. I want you guys to think and learn from the wisdom of this wise man. He made the king do four things. And I'd like to share these points with you and practice them in our life, okay? He made the king first notice the blessing, and then he made the king think about it, and then he made the king feel, and then he made the king do something. He made the king notice that water is a great blessing, and he cannot take it for granted. And then he made the king think about this great blessing. And when the king thought that this great blessing is very priceless, he felt very grateful and very thankful for the blessing he has. And this made him a very good king. Now, let's practice these four things with the good things we have in our life. And let me give you three examples, and it will be very brief. Imagine someone gave you a gift. Your dad, your mom, one of your relatives, one of your friends, or your teacher said a good word to you, or someone opened the door to you, anything good done to you. First, notice it. Do not take it for granted. Someone opened the door for you, do not take it for granted. Someone gave you a gift, some new clothes that you love or a toy that you were looking for. Notice it, do not take it for granted. Think about this. The people who did this for you and the people who are giving you that gift or doing you that act of kindness are thinking about you and caring about you. That makes you feel thankful and you need to do something. What can I do? Brother Hussein will bring us an eraser now. So, what can we do? We can do two things. We can express our thankfulness, and the second thing, we can share the blessings we have. So, when someone does something good to you or give you something good, you must say thank you. And you must think of sharing this blessing with others. Let's explain it in an easier way. When you feel happy because someone opened the door for you, or someone honored you, or someone gave you something you love, why don't you make other people feel the same way? I mean, you have a lot of toys that you guys do not use, and you keep complaining about needing more. And you actually, if you start thinking about the many toys you have, you will stop complaining about the one you're missing. And you will actually, because of that feeling of thankfulness, you would now think of thanking your parents for having these many toys and sharing some of these toys with people who do not have it. You have a lot of clothes at home that you do not use. If they are in good condition, why don't you share it with people who are less fortunate and make them feel happy as you felt happy when you first received that item and that thing you love? Let me give you another example. Your mom made a very delicious meal for you, a meal that you really love. This is, of course, one of million things moms do. Or let's say your dad is working day and night to make sure that you have food on your table. And this is also one of things dads need to do, one of the many things they do. Now, let's apply these things. She cooked a good meal for you. She spent maybe 4 hours in the kitchen. Do not take that for granted. Notice that and think about what she did for you. She cares for you. She wants you to be healthy and to be full. And and you need after you think about how much she cares about you to do that good deed, feel happy for having your mom or for receiving these good blessings. And now you need to do something. You need to say thank you for what you did. Can you imagine this? You spend 4 hours preparing a meal for somebody, and after you give it to them, you do not receive a thank you note from them? That's very weird. Now, do not take things for granted. Just because she's your mom does not mean you do not owe her a sense of gratitude and thankfulness. So, what she does for you, you should say thank you. What your dad does for you and spends hours and hours, sometimes 10 hours working every day to make sure that he meets all of your needs, that requires a thank you, real thank you from your heart. Make sure also when you receive these blessings, you share it with others as much as you can. My last example is about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you. Allah gave you eyes to see with, gave you ears to hear with, gave you legs to walk and move, and all of these, and mind to think with. Now, can you trade your eyes for $1 million? I can hear you. Do not say yes. No, no one would trade his eyes for $1 million. This is a great blessing. Now notice this great blessing that you cannot trade for 1 million. Now, maybe you didn't think about this before. Why? Because we did not notice it before. So notice this great blessing and think about this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to you. What does that mean? That means it's an act of Allah's mercy and Allah's love for you. And this should make you feel grateful and thankful. And this must be expressed. So you must say, thank you, Ya Allah. You must say, Alhamdulillah. And it must come from your heart. And by the way, did you know that one of the ways of saying Alhamdulillah is to stand up in Salah? Yes, Salah is the way we say Alhamdulillah. Imagine if you gave somebody $1 million and he did not say thank you to you. Isn't that weird? Now Allah gave you the eyes, gave you the legs, made you very healthy, and you do not stand up in Salah saying Alhamdulillah, because Salah is a way of thanking Allah. And that should be done all the time because Allah's blessings are continuing. No matter how many blessings we miss or lack, there are too many to notice. So make sure that you notice the blessing, you think about it, and you feel grateful for it, and you do something, which is the gratitude, expressing your thankfulness by saying Alhamdulillah. Now, I want to move to my favorite part of this program, which is giving you one ayah to memorize. Yes, and I insist that you and your parents, everyone is staying at home, and you do not, and some people are feeling bored, they do not know what to do. Now we have a very good exercise to do. Every day we'll memorize one ayah. So we'll have many ayat in this program. We can call them memory ayat. I want you to memorize these ayat because these ayat are about values that you should grow with. These are values to grow with. And these ayat should be planted in your mind and you should grow with it. It creates a new culture and it should become part of your vocabulary. So what is the ayah I want you to memorize today? It's actually about gratitude. So I want you to write it down. Your mom can do that today, but next time you know the procedure of this class. So I want you to write it down in Arabic and in English and memorize it. And we're not done by this. We'll have an exercise for you to do as well, besides memorizing this ayah, because we want this to be engraved in your mind and becomes part of your culture and words that you use every day. And remember too, to motivate you to do something good. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. لَإِن, I'll give you time to write it down. لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. Okay, what does that mean? These are only 3 words. Do not tell me I do not speak Arabic well. Think of these as 3 names for 3 guys. So you can easily memorize them. Even if you know no Arabic, this could be part of your new vocabulary in Ramadan. لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. This is something for you to grow with, and it will help you create the good path for yourself and build your character in a great way. And you will remember me in 10 years about these great values that you are planting in your mind. Because whatever you're thinking will become you, will literally become you. If you think like a grateful person, you become a grateful person. You become a happy person. So what does this mean in English? It means if you thank meaning thank Allah, I will give you more. It's very easy translation just for the sake of memorizing it and not making it complicated. So لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. Remember this. When you say words of thankfulness to somebody, they will love you. They will be very kind to you. They will be appreciative of you. And this will open you great avenues in your life. So even practically speaking, it is actually true. If you thank, I will give you more. Again, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. Now, I want to finish with the exercise. What is the exercise we have today? I do not want to erase this at this point. What is the exercise we have for today? I want you to, in your journal, and this is a good idea, your parents should buy you a journal, or if you have a notebook, it should be given that name, Memory Ayat. This is your journal, your Ramadan journal, Memory Ayat. These ayat are ayat that will help you determine the way you behave in life, because these are about values. Every day we learn about one value. So the exercise I want you to have today is to write and draw 5 things that you appreciate in your life. What are the 5 things? And again, remember, do not take things for granted. 5 things to write and draw and in your journal. Of course, after also you add all of this great information. And before I finish, make sure that you also do not forget to say thank you for this program. Make sure that you notice it and you think about it, because the masjid is caring about you, is feeling for you, wanted to communicate for you. That should make you feel thankful and make you say thank you, right? So make sure that you have your comments here and say thank you to the masjid and feel grateful and happy Ramadan. And I love you, all of you guys. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And I'll see you tomorrow at 6:30 inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.